My name's Marcus Gibson, and we're here at Daynom Templeman's checking out his E46 BMW for NAC Insurance. Alright, so Daynom, talk us through your prep for the 2018 D1NZ season.
Yeah, we had a bit of prep in the off-season. We finally sorted. We had a bit of engine troubles in our first season with the BMW, and then the guys at Engine Specs got on top of that for the second year running the BMW. So we pretty much progressed with that for this third year running the car. Steve Murch did a bit more work on our turbo and that sort of stuff, and he's doing some other stuff at the moment. And then we just basically gave the car a big freshen up, and that doesn't look spectacular at the moment. She's pretty plain Jane white at the moment. We also did a bit of work with geometry with the car and basically getting the car to handle a lot better. And these first two rounds we've definitely seen a huge improvement with the way the car drives, handles and does things, which has made my job a lot easier. And so it's pretty much what we've done.
So you've taken a bit of power out of the car than it had last season?
We took power out of the car for season 2, let's call it.
Yeah.
Just so it wasn't so snappy, We and Steve did that with what he did with the turbo, and Ross also did it with how he tuned the car. So we basically just got it where it comes on a lot more earlier. We haven't lost a huge amount of horsepower, but it's just changed the torque curve and made it just a little bit more easier to drive, or drivability, and just comes on boost a lot more.
So the geometry change that you're talking about, the car's a little bit higher than it once was?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Just a few ride height changes, and a few other shock changes and things like that, and definitely some things that we've done in the front, and that has made the car a lot easier to drive and a lot nicer chase car. We always struggled with being the chase car. We always had a good qualifying line and that sort of stuff because you weren't having to deal with who was in front of you. It was all about just putting on a good qualifying line. Now we have a car that's a real great chase car, so which is what it's all about,
Yeah, that's 50% of your battles.
Pretty much. It's sort of, I used to go, oh God, we're going to chase, Now it's like, cool, we're chasing. So it's definitely, and I've done a couple of other forms of racing in the off season, just had a bit of seat time driving some other things in that, and that's really helped because it's slowed me down a bit. I've always been a maximum attack, go as fast as I can, and still always will, but this has sort of calmed me down a bit where, yeah, okay, we can drive the car a lot slower and drift the car a lot slower, which is what you want to do when you're coming up against certain people in that. So, we've had a pretty good off season and are sitting not too bad so far in the championship. So
you mentioned a bit earlier about doing a little bit of other driving during the off season. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, fortunately enough, we've been competing at Bay Park and Waikareika Park, and what they refer to as a 6-shooter, which is a sprint car chassis with a V6 Commodore motor in it. Not a huge amount of horsepower, they're about 205 sort of horsepower, but just really close competitive racing. So it's just nice. You sort of get up on the wheel and it's that whole wheel-to-wheel racing again, which is something I really miss, is that proper,
a full field of
the
cars.
full field and hammering away at it, and that's the only sort of negative I can say about drifting is it's over so fast, and there's not that like you've got a 10 or a 20 lap race where you're just beating away at it and you're trying to not chase the other person, you're trying to get around them or under them and all that sort of stuff. So that's been really good fun. So I've been doing that with Kane Williams, who used to be involved with Scott Dixon and that. He used to be over with Indy cars with him. So it was nice. I met up with him again when we actually did the Bay Park round 2 years ago, and it just sort of got to, he says, hey, do you want to come and have a go at this for a season? And it's just been really refreshing just to go out and have a hammer at it again, just nice to be back in the dirt and slinging mud and all that sort of stuff. I'm currently building a UTV to go and do a bit more off-road racing and that, just some enduro stuff. And
so getting back to your roots, really?
Yeah, pretty much back to my roots and that, just because that takes over in the winter and that. So yeah, looking forward to doing that, because that's another competitive class that's sort of growing, that whole UTV, even here and all over the world, that UTV sort of racing. So that's something, you know, I would love to, before I get too old, is go and do something like, you know, the Mint 400, or go and do a Baja or something like that, you know, and you know that's competitive in its class, you know. It's not a trophy truck or anything, but, you know, millions of dollars to run one of those, whereas this is just getting back to basics. And the cool thing about that is you can put it on the trailer and go up to the beach with all your other mates and just have a bit of a blat in the dunes, and, you know, there's lots of people that do it. So yeah,
so you're obviously doing the UTV at like quite a competitive level, or you're building a pretty competitive looking car.
Yeah, it's sort of,
is that just your nature that
you
can't leave it?
Yeah, I can't leave stuff standard, you know. It's sort of like, just let's make it an animal, you know, when really I should just go and have a fang in it. And we did, but it's like anything, it's like, let's get more power. I don't know, it's just our way, our family nature is just, never do anything by halves. It's sort of throw the kitchen sink and some at it. So